Well, welcome back to another episode of Cup of Joe Crypto, where I bring you the latest news in Bitcoin and all cryptocurrencies. Guys, before I get started, please make sure you hit that subscribe button. As I always state, trying to build my channel. Appreciate any support that you could get. Tell your friends and family about Bitcoin, blockchain, cryptocurrency. Get them involved in this life-changing technology. Before I get started, I'm not a financial advisor. Nothing I say is financial advice. I strictly just like to try to bring you all the top crypto stories and wrap it up in a short span. Guys, let's get started. Market cap today at $223 billion. BTC dominance slightly gaining to 66.4%. BTC with a slight rise in the last 24 hours, bringing it up to 8,243. We'll go ahead and scroll down and take a look at the top 10 coins. Bitcoin SV with a very nice 16% gain. Some Craig Wright fans out there bringing it up to $111. Nice gain if you are a Bitcoin SV holder. For everybody else besides Bitcoin Cash, pretty sideways day with small to moderate gains and losses. Jumping right into my first story, a former Trump advisor to release stablecoin backed by fractional reserve by Anna Alexandre. A former campaign advisor to the United States President Donald Trump is planning to release a stablecoin based on a fractional reserve. As Fortune reported on October 21st, Stephen Moore announced plans to launch a stablecoin dubbed Frax, which will be backed by fractional reserve of US dollars. As such, the planned stablecoin will not be pegged one-to-one to a reserve of dollars, but is based on algorithms that will loan out its reserves and gain interest in order to make certain that the value of the coin remains fixed to the dollar. Moore and his business partner and co-founder of Frax, Sam Kazemine, said that the stablecoin, which is expected to be launched in the coming months, will be built upon established blockchains that ensure a tamper-resistant public record. Moore sees cryptocurrencies as an alternative to government currencies. Moore, who is also an economist at the Heritage Foundation, a conservative think tank, argued that cryptocurrency could be an alternative to state-backed money. I quote him, "I followed monetary policy for 30 years and always been troubled by the government monopoly on currency, which is unhealthy for markets. It's very healthy for private competitors to challenge central banks over the money supply. If I had been on the Fed, I would like to have seen encouragement for the development of cryptocurrencies like Frax. It can be a check and balance against runaway currencies." And I end quote. This summer, Moore joined a new crypto project dubbed Decentral, which counts Kazemine as CEO and Mike Novogratz, the founder of crypto merchant bank Galaxy Digital, as a purpose investor. At the time, Decentral was also planning to issue a fiat/asset pegged or algorithmically stabilized stablecoin. Decentral pitched itself as a platform that will assume responsibility similar to the U.S. Federal Reserve with the cryptocurrency space, such as regulating monetary supply and exchanging its own token for other cryptocurrencies. Previously, Moore commented on Facebook's not yet released Libra stablecoin, stating that it's interesting because this Libra represents a new challenge for central bankers, that they now have competition from private currencies. Meanwhile, G20 finance leaders agreed that the global acceptance of stablecoins will give rise to a set of serious public policy and regulatory risks. So interesting. Before I jump into one of the main stories, I'll leave it more so for the end. We all know what John McAfee said yesterday in his bold prediction. And rather than focus on why that prediction is absolutely crazy and outlandish, I wanted to find an article looking at it in a different perspective. And so at the end, I'll read over the article why his bold $2 million prediction may not be all as crazy as we thought. So stay tuned to the end to see why. My next story I thought was pretty cool. Mahatma Gandhi would oppose India's ban on cryptocurrency. So I think you guys would find this a little interesting. I'm not going to read the whole article, but just skim over some of the main parts. India's finance minister and Reserve Bank governor both cautioned India against embracing cryptocurrency this week. Their reasoning? It's what authorities in other countries are telling them. But the father of modern India, Mahatma Gandhi, would oppose India's ban on cryptocurrencies, like Bitcoin, if he were alive today. And here are 3 reasons why. Gandhi envisioned an independent India. Speaking to a pool of Indian reporters on Sunday, Union Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman said India will follow other countries' lead on crypto, and I quote, "The Reserve Bank governor spoke about it during our turn to intervene. I got the sense that many countries were cautioning on rushing into this," end quote. India's The Week reported several other remarks from Sitherman. Her entire case against cryptocurrency consists of little more than letting other countries dictate India's cryptocurrency regulations. But Mahatma Gandhi led a non-violent revolution, unprecedented in all history for India's sovereignty and independence from foreign dictates. There was no substantive comment or analysis addressing the reason behind these warnings, addressing the above statement. Neither did Sitherman comment on potentially benefits of cryptocurrency. The number 2 reason is cryptocurrency is for India's unbanked poor. There were 369 million Indians living in poverty in 2015 through 16. That's many millions more than the total population of the United States. This figure uses the UN Development Program's Multidimensional Poverty Index, the MPI, defining poverty as living on less than $1.90 a day. The latest official count found 268 million Indians living in poverty in 2011. Gandhi was an avowed advocate of India's poor and a fierce critic of the caste system that made millions of Indians untouchable second-class citizens. He said, and I quote, "I look upon an increase in the power of the state with the greatest fear, because although, while apparently doing good by minimizing exploitation, it does the greatest harm to mankind by destroying individuality, which lies at the root of the progress. We know of so many cases where men have adopted trusteeship, but none where the state has really lived for the poor," and that was Mahatma Gandhi's Modern Review in October 1935. In popular conception, Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies are a way for computer-savvy Westerns to make enormous amounts of money and get rich quick from this latest emerging tech boom. Both industry and mainstream medias have flogged this narrative, but Bitcoin is really not for them. It's for the world's millions of unbanked, living in poverty with no access to financial services. India has the second largest unbanked population in the world, and in 2017, data from the World Bank's Global Findex report indicated that 190 million Indians over the age of 15 were living without a bank account. Meanwhile, the economic research literature has found consistently over the decades that financial inclusion drives GDP growth and levels out income inequality. Cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin embody Gandhi's vision of an e-gathering in India. Their decentralized protocols don't and can't exclude anyone on the basis of caste. Gandhi would oppose bans enforced by threats. Finally, Gandhi would oppose any Indian ban on cryptocurrencies enforced by the threats of fine and imprisonment. The Mahatma Gandhi envisioned a society based on love and peace, not fear and threats, he once said, specifically with regards to economic policy. Go ahead and read that quote above. I'll rest there for a little bit. It goes on to state, this July, an Indian Intergovernmental Panel on Digital Access released the February 2019 report on crypto. The panel recommended the Indian government ban cryptocurrency. Astonishingly, the report suggested making the use of cryptocurrency a crime punishable by up to 10 years in prison, with a mandatory minimum of 1 year's jail time. Cryptocurrency is a labor of love. The bright engineers who have advanced this software, much of it free, nonprofit, and open source, are hoping to empower people by deploying the amazing possibilities of connected information technologies. They're offering the world marginalized a way to shield themselves from exploitation and decriminalization. And discrimination. Were he alive today, Gandhi would likely support cryptocurrency. At the very least, he would certainly oppose any government threats against those who use it. So, I thought this was a really, really cool article, just in the aspect of why is India so afraid to ban for the use of cryptocurrency, and it comes back to making sure that the government has complete control of everything that you do, especially money. Money is power, and they want to make sure all the power is in their hands. And with cryptocurrency, the power would not be in their hands. 190 million people in India do not have bank accounts, quite frankly, because they don't have the assets or the knowledge or the tools to gain it, or they simply just don't have the people allowing it to happen. The great thing, and one of the reasons that I got into Bitcoin, is to stop giving others the power. With Bitcoin, you have your control of your money. Nobody can tell you what to do. Nobody can tell you how to spend it. Nobody can sit there and say, "Well, you only have 250 you have $250,000 in the bank, but right now we can only give you 100,000." Guys, Bitcoin is life-changing. The government can't rule it. The government can't stop it. That's why you see so many smart minds getting into the space. They know the power behind it. Take a minute, I challenge each and every one of you to educate just one person about Bitcoin, about blockchain, and inform them of what it's truly capable of doing. Because what I'm telling you is all they're seeing are the TV shows where people are being hacked and held ransom for Bitcoin. I can't tell you how many times I brought up the word Bitcoin, and the first thing that people said is, "Oh, that's what people use for ransoms when they either hack a computer or do kidnapping." And I try to take the time to explain to them that's that's not what Bitcoin is. Bitcoin is so much more than that. You're looking at one aspect of Bitcoin. Open your eyes, and I challenge you to open other people's eyes and show them truly how great and life-changing Bitcoin and blockchain technology can be. And as I mentioned to you previously, I wanted to save the John McAfee article till last. So many people were talking about why he's crazy and this prediction is so crazy. So instead of focusing on why we think that prediction is so crazy, let's take a look at why we think it's not that crazy. So here's 5 reasons McAfee's $2 million Bitcoin prediction may not be so crazy. McAfee's latest call for a 2 million Bitcoin by the end of 2020 may seem a bit far-fetched, but hear him out. Despite even the most optimistic models falling short of that value, here are 5 reasons why his prediction may not be so crazy. During an interview with AIBC Summit, McAfee made the seemingly outlandish statement, doubling down on his previous prediction that Bitcoin would hit 1 million by 2020. Run the effing numbers. If Bitcoin is less than 2 million by the end of 2020, then mathematics itself is a flawed disappointment. While most sane people, analysts, and economists remain healthily skeptical at McAfee's words, if Bitcoin has shown us anything so far, it's that anything can happen. Bitcoin scarcity will lead to a price surge is the first reason. Bitcoin is scarce in nature with a capped supply of 21 million. On top of that, 7 million have already been lost forever. As the infrastructure and regularity landscape continue to improve for institutional investors, the demand for Bitcoin will increase. Increased demand plus scarcity equals a massive price surge, maybe even all the way to a $2 million Bitcoin. Number 2, 2 trillion plus institutional investment dollars. Bakkt's launch has been dire so far, but that doesn't mean things will continue this way. Institutional investors are likely stalling due to uncertainty regulatory climate in the US. However, according to data from the Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis, there are currently some $2.14 trillion parked in institutional money funds right now just looking to find a home. John McAfee predicts Bitcoin will reach 2 million by 2020, and there is the price prediction right there. It's just a tiny percentage of these finds their way into Bitcoin. The price would go hyperbolic, just a tiny fraction of those $2.14 trillion just parked there waiting to find a home. It would make the price go crazy. Number 3, Bitcoin halving in May of 2020. The next Bitcoin halving is coming up around May 2020. This event will hack the mining block reward in half. Looking back at historical patterns, Bitcoin price tends to boom about a year after each previous halving. That may lead McAfee's $2 million Bitcoin prediction out of time by the end of 2020, but it could be a reality for early 2021. Number 4, governments holding Bitcoin in central bank reserves. Okay, so this may not have happened yet, and it may just be starting with Venezuela considering the option, but let's take a leap here. If all countries follow the same trend as Pomp enthusiastically believes, the price of Bitcoin it could indeed go to the moon. And then you'll see his tweet below. Reports are surfacing that Venezuela is considered holding Bitcoin and Ethereum in their central bank reserves while also using it to pay organizations. And the last reason, number 5, a global recession in 2020. The jury is still somewhat out on whether investors consider Bitcoin a safe haven asset. However, as we've seen recently in Hong Kong, Venezuela, and Argentina, when macro conditions are ripe, the stock markets tumble and many investors drift towards Bitcoin. If economists are right in their global recession next year, BTC could get a massive influx. With the network fundamentals better than ever, this could send things into the stratosphere. A 2 million Bitcoin by 2020 end? High unlikely, but there's definitely potential for Bitcoin to become so much more than it is today. And leave a comment for that question right below. Do you think Bitcoin will ever reach $2 million per coin? So please make sure you comment in the bottom if you believe Bitcoin will reach $2 million per coin. I believe it will reach $2 million per coin at some point. 2021, no, I think we're still too early on for it to reach that high that quickly. But I think he has put aspects in it that I believe Bitcoin will have a huge surge, and I believe a lot of these reasons are why. There is a lot of institutional money that's yet to be put into this market. If we do have a recession, I believe a lot of that money will funnel out of the stocks, out of the and into Bitcoin. I believe we will have a huge surge by the end of 2020, but $2 million, I don't know about that. I think we could see $100,000 Bitcoin by the end of 2020, 2021. That's the thing with Bitcoin, and what makes Bitcoin so special is you never know the potential. I think the potential is again astronomical. To get in at this price, I think years from now we'll be laughing, talking about an $8,000 Bitcoin. So guys, make sure you again share my channel. Please hit that subscribe button, like, comment, leave any advice that you'll give me. I appreciate every follower. I appreciate every like. I even appreciate some dislikes. Any feedback, whether it be good or bad, is positive in my eyes. Guys, until next time, keep hodling. See ya.